Hi everybody, this is Sunshine over here, and she is almost 7 years old. She was born in 2016 of June, and I bought her in February 2nd at the White Plains Reptile Expo from this breeder called ScattershotExotics, and I will leave his link on my description, and a bunch of other things I'll go through with you about carpet pythons, general, their temperament, and so for as long as I had her. But let's go back to the beginning. So I bought her at this reptile expo in White Plains, New York, and she was about maybe 5 or 6 inches. Try and be very affectionate, like a puppy dog. Usually I don't take her out during daytime because she likes taking naps, and right now she got to the point that if she wants to come out, she'll lean against the glass and let me know. This way I just pick her up. She don't care. But otherwise, I bought her from this breeder, and she was about good 7 inches, and he had amazing looking jungle jags out there, and he still does. I think he also has boas and needle snakes, like green needle. But otherwise, as long as I had her, I got bit once, and once again, the reason I got bit is I didn't know she was that far she could reach, because she eats pre-killed, because I don't feed her live. And one time I did feed her live, so it was like a coconut fiber. I have like a coconut fiber. I got like a coconut fiber soil, so it's like not really. It keeps the humidity, and they're very fine fiber. And one time I gave her a mice, and I always supervise. Make sure always check out. I never leave a prey item in there unsupervised, because they could easily attack a snake, by their heads or something, and they could cause infection. And I just don't. So one time I fed her alive, and she missed striking it, and she had a mouthful of this fiber. Coconut fiber in her mouth. I had to wash out. I said, that's it, I'm going to just have a mice pre-killed, or you could do is have it frozen, but I prefer pre-killed because you don't know how long in these pet stores or anything, how long it's been sitting there, but whatever is convenient for you. So I bought her at the reptile expo, and she was really small, and this was a winter. It was really a rough winter taking her home, and yeah. So I got nothing against these breeders, but he put her in this really fine little Tupperware, like she couldn't barely move. And I know I brought with me like a lunchbox. I put like a heat pad down. I put a nice little heat pad down, some little rags in there, because as soon as I went to my car, I put her right in there, opened the Tupperware that she was in, and and then I let her out. So I took her home, and I got her this 20 by 30 gallon tank, not too big. A little bit of paper towels to make sure if she doesn't have any mites, if she does, then you wash it. But generally she was pretty good health. And so I put a little branch in there, a little bit of fake plants in there to to blend her in. So I just let her be. I kept her around 85 degrees, and the hot source was around 93, because they do like it hotter. So for the first few days I left her be. I didn't even bother, picking her up, holding her up, because she, when she warmed up, she kind of got frightened. Like all snakes, mostly they're small and everything. They're like a scared noodle. The world is a scary place for them. So I know when she was looking at me when I was walking by her closure, she would just look every single where I was going. She was like really like a defense mode, like, and it is scary because you're in a new place, new smell, new everything. It could be scary, and even the sight of me, she would just strike at the window. So yeah, she was a little feisty at that time, but then she calmed down after a couple of months, and the way I did was, after 4 days, 3 days, let her adjust. I wore gloves. I mean, I don't mind getting bit, but you know, she was a little nippy at that time. So when she was nippy, I took her out and, put her on the table, put her around here on bookshelves, make sure everything's all good. So as she was so frightened about me and everything else, I put her on the table. And even right now at this age of she's being a young adult, she will literally check every single thing on the table. Like whatever items I had on the table, even when she was small, she would check every single thing. Every single thing she would check. And then, just because she felt like she's in Disneyland, pretty much her fear of me standing there watching her it went out the window at this time, because she was more focused on exploring and looking at things around. So, and then after a while I kept taking her out. The more she was interested, she wanted to know more of her surroundings and what's going on. As I have it on my previous video, and this is the fake tree I got out of the garbage. And she likes climbing up there, taking a nice nap. She'll climb all the way to the top. They're excellent climbers. Highly suggest, if you got a carpet python, give them something to climb. They just love it. You saw I have this fake tree I had from the garbage can. I took it out, cleaned it up, and she just loves climbing on top, taking a nap. And even when first few months I had her, I got this shoe box. She's been doing that since she was small. So every time she hangs out with me in the living room, she wants to chill, she'll take a little nap in her shoebox. And this is what she does. Sometimes she takes a peek. And she takes a nap. She will literally learn to go in the little small holes that I have it in there, and I have some rags in there, and even I take her out. Even now she would hang out with me for a while. Sometimes she would coil around my neck, and she will really go to sleep. You could hear a little snoring sound, like little air popping sounds and some whistling sounds she makes, and she will only be sleeping for about 2 or 3 minutes before she'll go from my couch to the coffee table, and literally she knows their shoebox will be underneath there, and she would just go there and hang out there, and I would keep her in there for an hour or two, whatever she wants, and then every now and then, once in a while, take her out. So right now she's like to the point where she actually says that she'll lean against the glass and say, listen, I'm ready to hang out. So generally she's like a big ball python to me. Just the only time is when I got bit was when it was feeding time, and she reached about 2 feet, and she just nipped me. I mean, their teeth, even with ball pythons, their teeth is like size of little rose thorns, so not really big deal. But unfortunately, when they smell food and they sense something, they get into this zone. It's nothing personal toward, if you get bit by them. They just don't know when it's feeding time, especially when you open their closure up, and they don't know if you're going to take them out or you're going to feed them. So they're literally just, when their tongue is flickering like constantly, but then other times they just go with instincts, and because they're not meant to be hand fed, but you try to do the best you can. But my other video, I will make a video about understanding their behavior, their defense way, and how you could train your snake to let them know, like ring the dinner bell to let them know it's feeding time, instead of trying to reach in there, take them out, and then you get tagged, then you get bit. Because I seen bigger snakes where there was this woman that she opened up the closure, and this snake, I think was a Burmese python or a retic. This thing came out full speed. I mean, right there, I know right there and then is that the snake was ready for feeding, and didn't know that, the snake grabbed her hand and spun around it. But, with even her, I could tell when they're in that feeding zone, especially her eyes, her eyes dilate, her pupils dilate. And right there and then, I know she's focusing on any movement she is. I mean, one time, even when I was feeding her, she moved her own tail, and she would strike her tail accidentally. So at this time, when they're in that zone, they will literally strike at anything that moves. It doesn't see you. It doesn't recognize. It just sees anything that's moving. It's gonna full scale attack. Because they're ambush killers, and they're embryo snakes. So like most of the times they just love climbing. So like she does is she will climb on top of the closure. Like I have branches on up there, and the heat up there is about 93, 95 degrees, and she would spin around like a ball, sleep on the branch rest of the day, and then closer to nighttime she would just go down into the bush. I got like a little leaf over there or a little log, and she would just sleep there for the night. Or then other times when she wants to hang out, you know, she'll just hang out, you know. So I feed her pretty much 1 or 2 mice a week. But usually what weeks I do go is sometimes I'll give her 1 mice if I do like 7 days, you know, just to not overfeed them. Or like I will give them 2 mice and I will feed her every 12 days. So I change it up always, you know, their feeding schedule. You know, like sometimes I will go 7 days, then I go 9 days, then sometimes I go 10 days, and then the least longest 14 days. And because, you know, when they're in the wild, it's not determined when they eat every 7 days or 8 days. They just eat when they're ambush, you know, hunters, where if something prey item goes there, then they strike on, then they feed on it, you know. And it could be it could be weeks or months before, you know, she I got a little fiber on her. That's I'll get that. A little something in her mouth. It's a little messy, but and you know, twice a week I change her water. So temperature wise, I do have 85 degrees. Then the hot source is like 93, 95. Then the cold source I have on our closure, it's about 78 degrees, 81. So sometimes at night I do lower their temperature every now and then just to try to imitate their environment, and you know, also keep it like 50% humidity in there. I'll sprinkle a little bit of water in there because, you know, it's good for, even if they're when they're shedding, you know, it's good for them to shed, but no more than 50, because no more than 50% humidity, because I think at 60, you know, the mold starts to build up and everything. And I like her. I love her. She is great, you know. And you know, a lot of people say about snakes, are they feisty, or what breed are feisty or whatever. And this is very different just with snakes. And you know, just like people, they're all, you know, you could have the same breed of snakes. One will be cool, and one will be a little feisty or a little nippy or picky or whatever, you know. Because back 21 years ago, I met this breeder, and I asked him the same general questions. Which snake is docile, which is not docile? And he told me, he says, listen, I've been breeding snakes for 40 years. The most aggressive type of species snake he would have one that would be the most docile, or having one species of snake which generally they're very docile. He said that the other one would be the more aggressive. So it varies, you know. I handle her every like 2-3 times a week, and now she wants to hang out every day. So not much time I have find with her, but she's that docile. But she is always affectionate, always, you know. And you could see like some people take their carpet pythons, they're a little quick and a little fast, you know. Mostly they're breeders, you know. She is so relaxed with me. I could literally have her watching TV in the dark. She would never bite me or anything. Now she's being curious, so later on I'm gonna go to the pet store and feed her. And also here at this little closure back here, this is where I'm keeping the pie I bought from the Hamburg, PA Reptile Expo, and she's still adjusting, you know, still defense. It's gonna take time, but generally I just love carpet pythons, and they're great, you know. They're usually, the males will get around 6 to 8 feet, and the females will be like 9 feet. So we'll see how big she gets, you know. She has a good appetite, you know, not just like ball pythons, they go off eating or whatever. She'll eat throughout the year, and she'll eat anything. She is, and she is great. And another thing I just want to go through with you guys, if you get a carpet python or even a ball python, is here Sunshine's parents was really a little story that the breeder put on Facebook. I didn't know about it because I don't know much about snakes and what viruses they have. I know even boas and pythons, they get the inclusive body disease, which, if you go to your veterinarian, they do a blood test, they check all these snakes, and even my ball python, 21 years old, and I had her tested, just to be on the safer side, to avoid heartache, if anything happens to them. But one time, the breeder Scattershots left a video on Facebook, and this was he says, if you bought snakes from me, watch out, have them tested for Neurovirus. And I'm just Neurovirus. I'm like, and then he said it's fatal. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, I'm pretty much going on Explorer, Google, checking it out, what's this virus is about. And he did leave the description in his Facebook saying you could have them tested, and it's called Fish House Diagnostics, and I'll leave a link. I haven't been with that company where I send the sample. I hope they're still around. So it's pretty much where you will go online, register, and pay I think at that time back 6 years ago, it was like $70 or something. I don't know if it's a little more right now. So you pay that. They send it to your house. Saves you time and money. If you go to a veterinarian, I'm sure it'll be costing a lot more money. So you get a cotton swab and in a tube, So pretty much you get a form, you fill out your information, very detailed information of, if your snake is a carpet python, ball python, you write down what morphous it is, if it's any different, like a spider with ball pythons, or like pie, or... So with her, I wrote down carpet jag and everything. So what you had to do was, I had a toothpick I put between her mouth, and I had the cotton swab. So what happens is you have to get the cotton swab back of their mouth and swab it around for about, I think it was 5 seconds or 10 seconds. I'm not 100% sure. So I did that, and then you had to put the cotton swab in this tube, cut the end off, and close it. And then envelope, seal it, make sure. Then you send it to that Fish House Diagnostics, and I think within 2 or 3 weeks, I got an email from them saying the test results, and luckily they all came out negative. And I was relieved because I was so scared of her, because when the breeder said that they got this Neurovirus, and I spoke with them, her parents, both of them got this Neurovirus, and it's pretty much fatal. It's an infectious disease that literally is like ammonia for snakes, and there is no antibiotics or anything that could help it. It's pretty much the only way you could do it if you breed ball pythons or carpet jags is have them tested. And as the breeder, he didn't know much about it. So what happened was, Sunshine's mother, he wanted to breed her, and I guess he know a breeder friend of his or something, so he sent her over there with the male, and she breed with the male, which the male was probably infected. And at that time, then he bred with the snake that he had, the male, and which was Sunshine's mother or father. And as the mother, she passed it on to the dad, and they both literally died. I don't know how long it takes. Sometimes it could mount. This thing could mount in them dormant for about a month or 2 or a year. Who knows how long? But until then, it was pretty much too late. And when I spoke with the breeder, I immediately assumed that that's it. Parents has it. She has it. Case closed, but luckily I was so relieved when I saw that, email saying she was negative, And you know, I will leave a description about that fish house diagnostics if you choose to breed them, or just to be feeling safer side that, you know, I know pythons and ball pythons have it, and I don't think boa constrictors have it. They just have the exclusive body disease, same as they do have it. So, you know, and she's pretty healthy right now. She wants to go back to sleep. She is bored right now. So I thank you for stopping by, and I will make video of my ball python, you know, care and handling of him, and thank you.